What happens when family loyalty collides with silence, when a promise is made in the heat of comfort but broken in the coldness of distance? This is not just another story of celebrity headlines. It is a moment that unfolded inside the Kardashian-Jenner dynasty, where every gesture is amplified, every pause becomes a statement, and every silence turns into a storm. Kim Kardashian ghosting Kendall Jenner after offering her a place to stay was not only surprising, it was a shockwave. For a family built on image, unity, and the illusion of closeness, what happens when one sister shuts the door, not with words but with absence? It began quietly. Kendall Jenner, the youngest of Kris Jenner's daughters, was at a crossroads. Work commitments, personal pressures, and the search for grounding in a life constantly on camera left her vulnerable. When Kim Kardashian, her older sister, stepped in and generously offered her a place to stay, it seemed like the bond of sisterhood was reaffirmed. A home is more than walls. In this family, it was meant to be a sanctuary. Cameras caught the moment. A tender exchange that painted Kim as the protective older sister, and Kendall as the one finally finding safety in the whirlwind of celebrity chaos. But what the cameras did not capture was what came next. After the warm words, after the invitation, came silence. Kim Kardashian ghosted Kendall Jenner. The phone calls slowed, then stopped. Texts went unanswered. The door that was supposed to be open, waiting, remained closed. The phrase "Kim Kardashian ghosts Kendall Jenner" spread quickly, not only as a tabloid headline but as a whisper of betrayal among fans who had long seen the sisters as allies in a house full of shifting allegiances. Imagine Kendall, packed and ready, replaying Kim's offer in her head. "You can always stay here." Those words echoed, but the echo was hollow. Every time Kendall reached out, there was no response. For Kendall Jenner, being ghosted by Kim Kardashian was more than logistical frustration. It was emotional isolation. This wasn't a stranger or a distant friend. This was her sister, someone who had once promised security but delivered absence. The silence grew heavier when Kendall began noticing patterns. Kim's public life moved forward, glamorous events, new ventures, carefully curated social media moments. But there was no space carved out for her. It was as though the offer had been erased, as though the conversation had never taken place. The ghosting was not just personal, it was public. In a family where every scene plays out in front of millions, the absence of Kim's follow-through was louder than any argument. For those who followed the Kardashians, this was not a simple misunderstanding. It was symbolic. Kim Kardashian ghosting Kendall Jenner after offering her a place to stay revealed cracks in the family's polished image. Viewers asked, was Kim too busy, too consumed by her empire? Or was there something deeper, resentment, rivalry, or an unspoken tension simmering beneath the surface? Kendall, often described as the quieter, more independent sister, suddenly stood in contrast to Kim, whose life thrives on control and spectacle. In private moments, Kendall confided in friends that she felt misled, even abandoned. The gesture that was supposed to be comforting turned into a reminder of her isolation within her own family. Kim's ghosting wasn't just the absence of hospitality, it was the absence of sisterhood. And then came the speculation. Was this ghosting deliberate? Or was it simply negligence from a sister balancing empires, children, and her own personal reinventions? Some argued Kim Kardashian's ghosting of Kendall Jenner was a classic case of overpromising and underdelivering, a pattern of words meant for the cameras, not for real life. Others believed it was a silent message, a way of establishing boundaries that Kim did not want to verbalize on camera. To ghost someone is to avoid confrontation. To ghost your sister is to avoid honesty. The family, as always, tried to spin the story. Kris Jenner reminded the world that family sticks together, no matter what. But even Kris, the matriarch who orchestrates narratives, could not erase the uncomfortable truth. Kendall Jenner had been offered a place to stay by Kim Kardashian, and then she had been ghosted. The contradiction was too sharp to ignore. As the weeks passed, the tension seeped into every interaction. Kendall appeared distant at family gatherings, her smiles faint, her words careful. Kim, on the other hand, doubled down on her public persona, launches, interviews, appearances. She never addressed the ghosting directly, but in silence she spoke volumes. The family brand thrives on appearances, but in this case, the absence of acknowledgement became its own kind of headline. From a documentary lens, it is impossible not to see this moment as a fracture point. The Kardashians have survived scandals, divorces, betrayals, and public meltdowns, but the act of ghosting within their own circle carries a different weight. Ghosting is modern abandonment. It is the refusal to explain, to engage, to reconcile. When Kim Kardashian ghosted Kendall Jenner, she revealed that even in one of the world's most famous families, silence can be more devastating than conflict. Kendall, meanwhile, grew stronger in her own independence. If Kim's door was closed, she would find her own. She turned back to her career, to her modeling, to her own space away from the noise. But the wound lingered, not as a public scandal, but as a private scar. Every family dinner, every reunion, carried the unspoken question: could Kendall trust Kim again? Could she believe her words after being ghosted once before? The narrative unfolded with the rhythm of betrayal, the drama of absence, and the weight of family ties. Kim Kardashian ghosting Kendall Jenner after offering her a place to stay is not just about two sisters. It is about promises and their breaking. It is about the tension between public gestures and private truths. It is about the reality that even in the closest families, silence can cut deeper than words. And so the cameras continue to roll, but the silence between Kim and Kendall remains. The audience is left to wonder, was this ghosting a mistake, a miscommunication, or a deliberate choice? Only the sisters know. But what the world has seen is clear: a sister's promise, a sister's silence, and a bond tested by absence. For Kim Kardashian and Kendall Jenner, this moment has already become part of their legacy, a reminder that in the spotlight, every silence tells a story.